Yasushi Nakamura puts some serious mileage not only on his bass, but also on his passport. Being one of today's first call bassists means frequent and long show tours that can take him away from his family of 2 children and spouse for weeks, even months at a time. It has resulted in an impressive list and number of recordings made on both electric and acoustic or double bass. Hi, this is Steve Braunginn. On this episode, which opens Season 2 of Strictly Jazz Sounds, we spend time with bassist and intrepid traveler Yasushi Nakamura, just as he returns from an extensive European tour with vocalist Cecile McLorin Salvant and the new release kickoff tour with the American Patchwork Quartet. He's a prolific bassist with some serious groove that puts it right in the pocket. Pianist and longtime friend Emmet Cohen says that Yasushi is known in the music community for playing in over a dozen bands and is hardly ever seen reading music. The reason, says Yasushi, is he has photographic memory for the music. He takes one look at it and the rest he recalls. This allows him to internalize the music, a practice he highly recommends to young bassists today. With a musician as widely traveled as he is, Yasushi is a pretty shy guy on and off the bandstand. Check him out on a recent show he did performing with Emmet Cohen on his show Live at Emmet's Place with tenor saxophonist legend Lou Tabachin, husband of NEA jazz master, pianist, and Yasushi mentor Toshiko Akiyoshi. Yasushi, of course, on bass, was assertive and creative with hardly a word spoken, instead letting the bass do all the talking. His discography is already enormous. Yasushi has performed in and out of the studio with many noted jazz musicians, including Cecile McLorin Salvant, Emmet Cohen, Christian Sands, Amina Figueroa, Rudy Royston, Jon Irabagon, Rudy Royston, Vincent Herring, and Ulysses Owners Jr. I saw Yasushi at the 2023 Monterey Jazz Festival touring concert at Denison University near Columbus, Ohio. In that show, he was part of an all-star billing with Dee Dee Bridgewater, Kurt Elling, Lakeisha Benjamin, and good friends and longtime collaborators Christian Sands and Clarence Penn. Yasushi Nakamura is sharing 2 compositions with the podcast, so thanks to him for that. They are Yasugaloo, a lifetime treasure, Yasushi Nakamura on bass, Lawrence Fields on piano, Clarence Penn on drums, and Awesome Beef from the album Hometown, Yasushi Nakamura on bass, Lawrence Fields on piano, Clarence Penn on drums, and Bigyuki on synths. This episode is being released during Jazz Appreciation Month. What better person and humbler guy than Yasushi Nakamura to kick off this year's celebration of jazz. And thank you for listening to Strictly Jazz Sounds. Spread the word about this podcast and share it with others when you can. Finally, support live jazz wherever you are. Yasushi Nakamura is my guest today here on Strictly Jazz Sounds, your podcast for all things jazz, a conversation about jazz in its various aspects. Yasushi Nakamura is one of today's premier bassists. He's one of my favorites, that's for sure, and I am very honored to have you with me today. Thank you, Yasushi.
Oh, thank you, Steve, for having me.
You have been extremely busy. I was looking at your calendar, man. You know, the Cecile McLorin Salvant band was traveling from Italy to Massachusetts. You've been busy with the American Patchwork Quartet, which is not jazz, but we're going to talk about it anyway because it's an important group. Well, anyway, you just got off the road. Yasushi, how do you do it?
I guess you gotta be strong, physically, mentally, for sure. Back then on the first tour when I was in maybe early 20s, I was hanging every night, seeing things, but your body gets to know, you know. So nowadays you gotta maintain, check in, sound check, play, hang sometimes, but just rest and that's a routine for me on the road.
Do you meditate at all?
uh, I should, sometimes on a plane I try to sleep or in a hotel room. Sometimes Cecile's tour gets some days off, so sometimes I just chill in the room, do nothing.
Maybe that's the meditation.
Yeah.
It's the life of a musician, especially one with a family. What the challenges that you go through as a father? What are some of those challenges that face you as a father?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really appreciate my wife. That's the first thing I came up in my mind, and my oldest, he just turned 3. He started noticing whenever I leave, he's like, I have to go to work. I have to go to tour too. So yeah, so that seeing that, emotion, and he's feeling that kind of hurts my feeling a little bit, but that's, I guess they have to understand. And then when I was growing up, my father wasn't a musician, but he was a fisherman, so he'd be out on the ocean for like 2 to 3 months, sometimes a year. Yeah, I think when I first met him, I was 1.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so so probably in my gene to travel, I guess.
It's your gene to travel.
Yeah.
But when you're home, how do you balance parenting and music?
Mm. Yeah, when as soon as I get back, my wife's like, "Here you go, your turn." So, I try to do my best, but this kind of joke. But she be saying, they created the routine with with you know with her and the kids. So whenever I come home, kids get all excited. So I break the routine. So they're like, she'll be like, "So when you going back on the road?" She doesn't mean it, but yeah, I try to balance. I still need my time to practice at home. So when kids are asleep, sometimes I go in the bathroom and practice quietly.
And how does that happen? I mean, how can you practice quietly? Of course, then again, Coltrane used to play his sax without blowing the sax.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that, and yeah, I think that's it, right? You play without a just left hand, or I remember you mentioned Coltrane too. The West Montgomery used to practice softly with his thumb. That's how he got that technique, because all the family, all the kids were asleep. So
Yeah, that's right, because he worked at a factory
I think so, right? Yeah.
during the day, and then he's playing music all night.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this. Let's back up a little bit. You you didn't begin your musical journey on the bass, did you?
No, I started. My first instrument was clarinet and saxophone, and yeah, and then when I got to high school, well, middle school, I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and my brother uh, was playing the guitar already, and we kind of grew up in this in late '90s, the grunge era in Seattle. So everyone wanted to be like Nirvana or Soundgarden and those. So everyone had long hair, baggy pants, and then my brother was already playing guitar, so he's like, "Why don't you pick a bass?" So that's kind of how I got to start playing electric bass first.
So you did electric bass because of the Seattle grunge sound,
Kind of, yeah.
the scene.
That's right.
I mean, couldn't you play tenor sax at that time?
Yeah, I was still playing, and I played all through the high school in like a jazz band and wind ensembles. I mean, I could still probably get that sound, but I don't want to mess with it.
Now with the bass, that is a sound that is very different. You're more behind the scene.
Right,
You're the grounding of the group, whereas a woodwind you're out front.
right.
Which one do you feel more comfortable with?
Uh, I guess bass definitely, because I love being sideman, and I love working with so many, you know, different artists, different genres, So it's yeah, I love the sound of low end, and it's yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, and you get to in a way, as Ron Carter had pointed this out, that you can actually drive where the band goes.
Yeah, we can direct the band. Sometimes I could play ostinatos or pedals. Pedals are a really powerful moment. One of the bass, low end. And yeah, it's fun. It's just we're not be heard like trumpet or anything, but we have a lot of control too.
Now the type of control it is obviously not just you or the bass player, but there's that dynamic between the bass player and the drummer. Why don't you explain that? Because a lot of people when they're listening to even a trio setting, say it's you, Kyle, and Emmett, and when they're listening to that, sometimes the drum just really stands out and really goes, and but people don't understand there is really that dynamic that happens between the bass player and the drummer that really sets what happens. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, I guess I get a lot of those questions from students too. Bass and drum has who's plays on top, who plays on behind. That kind of questions I get a lot, and I asked the same question to Christian McBride one time when I was a student, and he's like, yeah, he said, yeah, when I was younger, our hero is Ray Brown. Ray Brown likes to play on top, so he thought all the jazz bass playing should be played on the top. But when he had a first gig in New York, I forgot who the drummer was, but during the break, he pulled him aside and said, "Hey, Christian, why are you so rushing?" And then he was like, I thought all the bass should play on top, but at that point he said, no, you got to play together. So that's kind of stuck in my model too. It's a hard balance. We don't talk about when we first meet with the drummer. So tonight you're gonna play in the middle of the beat or top of the beat. we never talk about those kind of things. You just gotta sense it and figure out where the beat is. So just playing together, the teamwork. I don't. Some drummers are. I work with stubborn drummers, which I'm fine. I'll go with them, but I prefer the drummer who plays vice versa, teamwork drummer.
You know, that teamwork drummer, it's uh, my observation. This is mine, as I've seen you quite a bit with Kyle Poole. That seems to be the type of partnership that you're talking about. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah. He's one of my favorite drummer. He plays with you sometimes. You know, I mean, dynamically. The feel of the swing, love of jazz drumming is hard to get these days. I think he really loves the sound of real traditional swing and being himself. It's pretty incredible. And we go, we rush sometimes. We can stretch the time. We never fight the beat. So that's an important thing.
Well, I see you two communicating. Just, I mean, it could be just a smile.
Yeah, right. That's perfect example. Yeah, smile is important.
That's a good way to put it. A smile is important. And as you're trying to determine the direction where things are should be going, I mean, Emmett suddenly, will sort of lead you off with a few final chords and basically throw it over to you guys
Yeah,
and, and say, "Okay, go with it."
yeah. We sometimes, like you said, we look at each other, smile, and we go with them or not. It's all about the communication. Sometimes you know pianists can push the time, it's like we look at each other. We should go with them. We should pull them back. That kind of communication is kind of happens organically. So yeah, it's just natural reaction. We have a bond.
Clarence Penn is also a drummer that you've spent quite a bit of time with over these many years since you've hit the scene. Was about 2001, 2002.
Yeah, I first met him through the master trombonist Marshall Jukes. He
Oh
plays,
yeah.
yeah, with Maria Schneider and so many other groups. But yeah, we first met. I mean, I knew of him through Makoto Ozone, and I mean Clarence used to play with Maria too. And yeah, I was a fan of him. And on that recording, Marshall's recording, the first beat, we didn't even talk. We just smiled.
Once again, there you go. It's the smile.
Yeah, and yeah, since then he's been like my big brother to me. We're close with his family and my family, and yeah, we've been on. Uh, he took me to one of the first Europe tour with Polish guitarists, and also yeah, we've been playing together. He also plays on my album Christian Sands. We also did that Monterey All Star when we met you, right? Was on that gig,
That was a fun gig, boy.
and also American Patchwork Quartet. He's part of that. So yeah, he's so musical. He'll definitely teamwork player. He'll play with you.
It's difficult with to make a living on just a musician's wage. So so many people going into teaching. And you have been involved in teaching, but you're not following the trail that so many others are doing, like Clarence Penn.
I guess eventually, we're freelance, self-employed, so our fear is, especially sidemen. You never know the thing's gonna end, right? So, it's a great opportunity. I love teaching too, but yeah, I only teach part time at New School and NYU. But yeah, I mean, someday I think about this steady salary doesn't sound bad.
And health insurance.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Where do you see the industry going in terms of having side players being fairly compensated for the work that you do? I mean, first of all, you have a long list of credits now, but that because you're not the the leading artist, that's a different system. Can Why don't you explain how that works? Because I think the average person has no idea how that works.
Yeah, basically, well, I get a call from like management or booking agents, but mostly from a word of mouth from the musicians. So that's how I guess all this, sidemen musicians get to work. And like I said earlier, once you're turning down one or two tours with the other artists, there's always other cats out there. It's younger, so it's hard to scheduling is almost gambling too. I'm fortunate. I guess after I'm in the middle of a pandemic, I got a call from Cecile. She's want to start this new group. I was like, yeah, I'm always down. I love playing with her. So I said yes, and that kept me going for maybe 3 or 4 years now. So it's every year is different for me.
But the way it works is she's the leader of the group.
Yeah.
She has to be responsible for
Hmm. Yep.
paying everybody, and she's responsible for making sure things get set up.
That's right.
And your role as a sideman, you show up.
Yeah, I show up. I learn the music. I maybe I should say this to younger musician. Yeah, get your stuff together. Learn the music, memorize the music, try to try to do your 150 to 100%. Try to internalize the concept of, because she's truly a genius. You know, great storyteller, and she will change the keys, change the form, and it's pretty amazing how what she does. And so you got to be ready to do all that. You know.
So with somebody as talented as Cecile,
Yeah.
you have to be on your toes.
Oh yeah. I every day she will do something different, so you have to be ready. And Sullivan's right next to her.
Sullivan Fortner.
Yeah, so you gotta you know what you have to be ready. What's gonna come next, and you gotta have the reflex.
And Sullivan plays piano. That we should remind everybody about that. Christian Sands had said that you're generous with how you play. You're always flexible, and you know the music. You internalize it. That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, I try my best. You can't know everything. Everyone can't know, I guess. But you have to do best. Read the air. Where are they going? That kind of sensitivity. I think that's really important. Knowing the music. Yeah, flexible. Definitely flexible.
Emmett says that you're known for playing in more than a dozen bands, and you're hardly ever seen reading music because you've internalized that so much. Is that right?
Yeah, Yeah, I do my best, to learn the music, and also, I mean, I have this photo memory. I forget. It's gonna be gone in 2 weeks, but once I see it, I could kind of memorize some stuff. But you know, that's important too. But just I guess the music, you gotta just be in it. You know, fall in. Yeah,
Engulf yourself into the music.
that's right. Yeah.
Let it embrace you.
Yes, definitely.
Let me ask just a couple of phrases, if you would explain this. What is meant by the phrase "in the groove"?
In the groove. Oh man.
So when someone says you're playing in the groove, what is that? What does that mean?
I guess when the body moves, when you see people dancing, or when people are. I mean, this is kind of opposite way, but whenever we play with Cecile, there's a song called "Pirate Jenny," sung by Nina Simone, and I always see the audience, and then their mouth is open, they're they're like so concentrated. They don't. That's I think that's in the groove. They're like the whole maybe 5 minutes of the song. They're like, I think that's it's not bopping the head kind of thing, but I think that's in the groove too. When people are really really stunned by it, I'm not sure, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah,
So what is meant by the phrase "in the pocket"?
I guess in the pocket when the groove stays, when everyone nods their head, I think that's in the pocket, especially when the bass and drums are in the sync grooving.
When they're in the groove.
Yeah, swinging or whatever. When your body moves
Yeah,
two and four, like if you want to snap, I think that's in the pocket. I think.
I could never understand when I'm at a show. I see folks sitting, just sitting, not moving,
Yeah, right.
and I go, "What is the matter with you?"
Yeah, I mean, if we some audience, moving and dancing and snapping, encourages us too. So we would definitely want to see more of you guys out there that are grooving and in the pocket people.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I can't stop moving.
Yeah, I love that.
And I can't. So, I mean, I know you couldn't see me when I was at Denison, but boy, dude, I was grooving. There was no three ways. The folks around me were grooving. We were in it,
Oh,
Jack.
that's great to hear.
Tell me this, Yasushi. What makes your technique different from other bassists? I mean, when somebody is thinking, I need to have a bassist on my tour, what makes them think Yasushi Nakamura?
I guess technique wise, there's so many incredible, bassists out there. I don't have a great technique, but I can still manage to play the music. Technique definitely helps, but I guess not more so for me the technique. I guess I go for the music.
Meaning what?
Like I think there's a two different kinds of bass player. Like a bass player. I call myself as a bass player because I like to support and groove and be flexible. But some other bass players like to be on more on top. Like have needs a bass solo or you know what I mean.
They like to be out front.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not one of those guys, I don't think.
No, you're. Um, I guess I would call you a shy bass player.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let me change directions a little bit here. I'm sure there have to be other
Mhm.
musicians that you are dying to play with. Who are they?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you've played with a lot of folks already.
there's so many. I mean, a lot of legends that I look up to. You know, like Herbie, or I just got a call to the international. I don't know if it's officially out there, but yeah,
International
we're
Jazz Day?
gonna go to Tangier, Morocco. Yeah, and I mean, there's a couple other bass players, so, but hopefully I get to play with, the master Herbie,
Anybody else?
I guess there's so many out there. I guess he's the only one for now that came up in my mind.
But you've played with you played with Emmet Cohen,
Yeah.
and he's involved older musicians. You did the most recent one he did with Houston Person,
Oh, that's right.
and you did the one he did with Jimmy Cobb.
Yeah, that was his first one, maybe, right? The Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that playing with Jimmy Cobb?
Oh, Jimmy! Wow, he's. I mean, I did a couple gigs prior to before, but he wow he was definitely a team player. He will play with you. When the going 2 and 4 or go to 4-4, he'll be right with you, and on the other hand, he will direct you, where the music should go, and I'll follow him. And it was a beautiful moment. We share the same birthday, so I talked to him about
Oh,
uh,
no kidding.
a lot of jazz birthday on January 20th. Tane, uh, Alvin Atkinson, James Genus, yeah, Questlove, I think. Yeah, but yeah, it was just beautiful to be around him. That was my first encounter with Mr. Cobb, and he was an incredible human being.
Do you have any idea the number of recordings you were on?
Uh, Maybe now 150, 200, maybe. I mean, I'm not.
You're pushing up there.
Not like Ron. Ron's incredible.
Yeah, but my next question is, are you set to outpace Ron Carter's record?
Oh, no, I'm gonna leave
I
that.
mean, he's what, 85,
Yeah,
88, something like that?
yeah.
And you are 38,
No, no, I'm 42.
42.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're 42, half his age. You're cooking though.
No, but
Ah.
I'll set as my goal.
Yeah, we'll put it there, won't we? there are also a lot of people that you've played with who are rising stars today. Some Asian American, Miki Yamanaka,
Oh, Mickey, yeah.
Arena Terekubo.
Yep.
Oh, she's something else.
Yeah, she's was a child prodigy. I mean, she's in 30s now, maybe, but she's incredible. She's yeah, I've seen her since when she was 16 or 17.
Uh huh.
She Yeah, she hasn't. I mean, she was great back then, but she hasn't. She's a different person now too.
And in terms of leadership, talk about another drummer, Ulysses Owens Jr.
Oh, Ulysses, yeah, we were at the Juilliard same time in the early 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've known him for almost 20 years, and yeah, he's cooking. He's doing his own thing. He's an entrepreneur. He's it's so great to see him doing so many different things, and it's
yeah.
pretty incredible. Yeah,
He's showing some very serious game.
yeah, he's creating the scene and hiring younger cats. That's just love. It's incredible.
Yeah, he has his own podcast.
Oh,
He
he does. Oh,
he
wow,
does weekly.
really? Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I've been following some of that,
mm,
and it's wonderful to see somebody of his age, um, basically in your age group, folks
mm,
who are in their upper 30s, mid to upper 30s, early 40s now,
right.
who are making waves, who are doing good things in the music. And another one is Patrick Bartley.
Oh, Patrick. Yeah, he moved out to Japan.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, yeah. He's hooking up the Japanese people. I think.
yes, he is.
Yeah, I think especially the younger generations, their level has gone up. Patrick Bartley, also great pianist. David Bryant, he
Yeah.
moved he moved out there recently, and yeah, the level just went up. And Gene Jackson, and yeah, it's a gift what they do to the community.
Well, let's talk a little bit as we're beginning to run out of time here, but the American Patchwork Quartet.
Yeah,
You're working with Clarence Penn on this project with Falguni Shah and Clay Ross. Why don't you explain this project? It's not a jazz group, but I'm particularly found it very fascinating that you and Clarence, two jazz musicians, were attracted and are participating in this project. Explain that. Um, Share this project.
yeah. I guess one day I got a call from Clay Ross. He's the founder of Ranky Tanky and Matuto, and he told me. I mean, I've known Clay. I mean, he's a jazz guitarist also, and I've known him since the first year in New York. But he said he has cause some idea putting together a group focusing on like immigrant songs and field music, roots, Americano type of repertoire. And I was drawn, by the idea, and I'm always down to learn something new. And he told me Clarence was involved, so I was like, okay, I'm down to learn new stuff. And then another thing is unique about this group is Falu. She's a master Indian classical singer, and she brings her Indian classical, you know, concept to the mix, and makes very unique to the project. She brings this microtone, you know, in jazz or classical music, we only have 12 notes, but she has a 24 notes, microtone. So, and then she brings a raga and Indian rhythm. So, I'm learning every day about the new songs and her approach to the music, and it's just fun to be involved in new things.
So you've been doing that work
Yeah.
while you've been touring with Cecile McLorin Salvant. And is this satisfying a part of you that reaches out to exciting and new things? It's I call you the shy bassist, but at the same time, Yasushi, you know so much. You've embraced so much around you.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be around great musicians. That I guess that's how I learned, and I should be like that too with the younger generations too. So just being open and yeah, embrace what's around you. I'm learning. I mean, from Cecile, I'm learning every day from her, repertoire and how she delivers her presence, and it's just I'm just lucky, I guess.
That's a good way to put it. Lucky.
Yeah,
I've got one more question.
yeah, sure.
Now, I understand, and tell me if I got the story wrong, but you, Walter Blanding, Chanel Johns,
Okay,
Ulysses Owners Jr., and Emmet Cohen
yeah,
played a gig in the Bahamas on New Year's Eve, 2016, 2017.
yeah.
I hear, I hear it was quite a party.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good old time.
And then there was a band that was part of Carnival.
Yeah, wow. Were you there?
I'm not going to tell you. And so, rum and music. Tell me more about this. Now, there's got to be another story out of this.
What do you mean rum and music? Yeah, I mean we basically. I think I don't remember where you were. I mean we did play for the New Year's, but I think it was really short. I think the
Yeah.
organizer wanted to DJ or something, so we ended up playing like 40 minutes a set, and we were done. We were just hanging, partying, drinking, dancing with. We marched along with Carnival.
And that was it.
I think I still have a couple pictures. Yeah, Walter dancing and
Oh, send one of those, man.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to tap that a little bit. Look, you and Emmett Cohen, that's a whole nother story. On just you three, you, Emmett, and Kyle, and and the pandemic.
yeah. It was. I mean, Russell was a big part of it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he took a break from that band, and I mean, he couldn't travel to Europe because with some passport issue or something. So that's when I filled in. Yeah, we traveled during the pandemic. That's pretty wild, no? 2020.
Yeah, that was really wild.
Yeah,
But as Emmett frequently talks about, on how important it is to get the music out there.
yeah, yeah. I respect that. Yeah, no one does during the Ukraine thing. He raised 30 grand or something, and he donated. It's no one pulls that off. That's pretty incredible.
But, I can tell you this is that I, along with many, many other people, it helped us to survive. You guys helped us to survive the pandemic
Hmm.
because I watched Emmett every Monday.
Wow, yeah, that means a lot to us. Yeah,
So, I think that's the first time I ever saw you play. And I'm going, who is this cat? And I started digging into you because I mean the way that you play,
oh
I
yeah,
I was
thank you.
floored. So it's my honor and thank you for doing this.
A great time. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yasushi Nakamura can be found on 4 recent releases: Lawrence Fields' To the Surface, American Patchwork Quartet, Christian Sands, Christmas Stories, and Emmet Cohen featuring Houston Person, Masters Legacy Series Volume 5. And ever since the interview, he's performed with Wycliffe Gordon, The Bela Project, Houston Person and Emmet Cohen, Lawrence Fields in Europe, Clarence Penn, Christian Sands, Joe Farnsworth, and Jonathan Blake. He's a busy man. Thank you for listening to Strictly Jazz Sounds. The theme music is by Johannes Wallman from his album Precarious Towers. It's appreciated when you pass the word on to others about the podcast. To automatically receive it when it's published, just sign in the subscription section. This is Jazz Appreciation Month, and April 30th is International Jazz Appreciation Day. Celebrate both by learning about and listening to jazz. And remember to support live jazz wherever you are. This is Steve Braunginn.